Have you ever wondered why most men sound the same when they compliment a woman? You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You look amazing. Safe, polite, forgettable. She's heard it thousands of times. If you sound like every man she's forgotten, why would she remember you? Marcus Aurelius said, "What we do now echoes in eternity." Your words either echo in her memory or vanish. Core message: real attraction isn't flattery. It happens when she feels exposed, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Words that slip past her armor and make her pause. That's the difference between blending in and leaving a mark. Most men give safe compliments. You look nice. That dress suits you. Harmless, but meaningless. They vanish. Others try sexy compliments. There's something about the way you move. A little tension, but predictable. The rarest are psychological compliments, the ones that reach her mind and linger. Example: you carry beauty like you don't even care about it. That's rare. You're not praising what the mirror shows. You're noticing what others miss. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." A woman doesn't fall for being told she's pretty. She falls for the feeling of being seen. Example and Stoic reflection: when everyone calls her beautiful, it's noise. But when you notice how her presence changes the room, you shift the frame. You're not worshiping. You're observing with calm strength. That makes her curious. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Don't speak to impress. Speak what's true. One grounded compliment is stronger than 10 empty praises. Closing: stop chasing validation with recycled lines. Stop echoing every other man. Speak your experience, what she awakens in you. That's what makes you unforgettable. It's not about saying more. It's about saying less with truth, clarity, and power. Attraction isn't just about looks or charm. It's about striking both her mind and her body at once. Most men miss this. They either say something about appearance, "You look sexy in that dress," or they go for intellect. "You're so smart." Alone, each is incomplete. Real impact comes when both collide. Example: you move like you know what you're doing. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't thinking about it. The first part is observation. It shows awareness. It touches the mind. The second part reveals effect. It hints at desire without vulgarity. Now her body feels it too. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." This kind of line works because it fuels her imagination. She wonders what you meant, and the thought lingers. Another: the way you sit with that much confidence, it's distracting. You're not focused on her beauty. You're focused on her presence. That's rare, and women feel it. Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A grounded reaction is far more attractive than polished flattery. Why does this matter? Because women aren't drawn to men who only see surfaces. They're drawn to men who notice the unseen layers: energy, command, restraint. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your words reflect depth, she feels depth. So don't compliment to validate. State what you genuinely notice. Then allow her to feel the effect she has on you. When a man speaks this way, come clear, certain he becomes unforgettable. She won't just remember the words. She'll remember how they made her feel in her mind, her body, and her spirit. Most men only compliment the light, the easy, safe traits. You're sweet. You're fun. You're so positive, harmless, but predictable, forgettable. Real power comes when you recognize her shadows, the side she hides, the energy she tones down. Example: there's something dangerous about you. I don't know if I should lean in or run. You didn't say she's hot. You revealed you sense her edge, the fire she keeps under control. That's intoxicating. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The object of life is not to be on the side of the majority, but to escape finding oneself in the ranks of the insane." Most men follow the crowd, praising her light. But when you acknowledge her darkness, you step outside the crowd. You become rare. Another: you've got the kind of energy that doesn't ask for space. It takes it. You're not flattering. You're recognizing her power. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you." By naming her untamed energy, you show strength proof. You can handle it without fear. Why does praising her darkness work? Because it's real. Every woman carries both light and shadow. When you recognize what others ignore, you give her permission to be whole. Seneca once said, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." The same applies here. Ignoring her darker side denies reality. Facing it creates depth, intimacy, and trust. So don't stop at the obvious. Dare to see the chaos in her eyes, the storm she tries to hide. If you're grounded, she'll remember you as the one who saw her fully end. Didn't flinch. Most men think desire is the goal. They say, "You're hot. You're sexy. I want you." But desire is cheap. Every woman hears it daily online, at the gym, on the street. Desire fades. What she rarely experiences is being truly seen. Example, instead of "you're beautiful," say, "You read people before they speak." You carry that quietly, but it's sharp. You're not praising her looks. You're noticing her perception, her mind at work. That penetrates deeper than any surface flattery. Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong, show me my mistake, I will gladly change. For it is the truth I seek." In the same way, women don't crave shallow praise. They crave truth, clear, sharp, undeniable. Another example, you act like you don't need attention, but you're fully aware when you walk into a room. Now she feels understood, not just admired. Epictetus taught, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. By showing awareness, you prove you see beyond appearances into what others miss. Why is this powerful? Because constant compliments build armor. She filters out flattery. But when you slip past that armor and recognize her essence, she feels both exposed and valued. Seneca said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." When you acknowledge her depth, you give her the freedom to drop her defenses. So don't compete with men praising her beauty. Show her what you see that others ignore. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to perceive. That's the path to connection that lingers long after the moment ends. Most men hand out compliments like candy. "You look amazing." "You're incredible" words, given to freely lose their value. They blend into the noise. A man of strength knows scarcity makes words powerful. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The same is true with compliments. Don't throw them to be liked. Offer them with intention, like a king declaring, not begging. Imagine this. After 10 minutes of calm conversation, you finally say, "The way your mind works, that's rare." One sentence, precise, undeniable. She'll feel it because you made her wait. Scarcity creates value. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Complimenting with restraint shows discipline. You are not seeking approval, you are showing what you see when it truly matters. Another example. There's a stillness in you most people wouldn't notice. I like it. No flattery, just recognition. She'll remember because it was rare. Seneca once said, "It is quality rather than quantity that matters." A single, well-placed compliment echoes longer than dozens of empty ones. So speak less, mean more. Don't flatter to fill silence. Say only what is true and let it cost you something to share it. That's how you separate yourself from men who perform. You're not trying to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself, and she feels it. Most men stop at validation. "You're stunning." "You're amazing," safe words, but they spark nothing. True power comes when a compliment becomes a challenge, when it awakens both curiosity and resistance. Example, she says she never lets anyone get close. Most men would admire her toughness. You say, "That's cute, but I bet you've built walls so high you've forgotten what it feels like to be truly seen." Now, her strength has been acknowledged, but also tested. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." By challenging her, you turn her walls into doors. You invite her into a deeper version of herself. Another, she's confident, always in control. Most men praise it. You look her in the eye and say, "You strike me as someone who's used to leading." I wonder if you remember how to let go. You didn't attack. You offered a mirror, and a mirror can be irresistible. Epictetus said, "Only the educated are free. A challenge educates the soul." It frees her from routine responses, forces her to engage, to rise. Seneca added, "Difficulties strengthen the mind. As labor does the body, the same principle applies. Stirring tension creates attraction." So don't worship with empty words. Compliment, then challenge. Let her feel seen yet unsettled. That spark of resistance is where attraction lives. You're not proving yourself, you're proving you can handle her truth, and that makes you unforgettable. What makes her think about you long after you've gone? It's not your looks, your car, or your charm. It's the imprint you leave behind, the echo in her mind. Most men flutter with words. A stoic man leaves space. Example, you talk like you're open, but I can tell you hold back what really matters. That one line forces her to reflect. She'll think about why you saw it. She'll replay it long after you're gone. Marcus Aurelius said, "Soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you plant the right thought, you remain with her. Desire fades, but reflection lingers. Another, you seem calm, but your eyes move like someone always scanning the room. You're not flattering, you're revealing. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish. By daring to say what others won't, you create mystery that makes her lean in. The silence you leave is as powerful as the words you speak. When she shares something vulnerable, don't rush to comfort. Simply say that explains a lot and let the silence do its work. Seneca reminded us, silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings. Silence pulls her deeper than chatter ever could. Most men try to stay on her radar by chasing. You exit with precision. She doesn't miss your attention. She misses how she felt around you. That is the difference between being remembered and being unforgettable. A simple compliment often dies the moment it's spoken. But when a compliment turns into a challenge, it becomes unforgettable. Most men stop at praise. A stoic man transforms it into a mirror that tests her. Example, she says, "I never let anyone get to me." Most men would admire her toughness. You respond, "That's impressive." But maybe you've built walls so high you've forgotten what it feels like to be truly seen. You didn't insult her, you invited her to confront herself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle is the way." By turning her strength into a doorway, you make her reflect instead of relax. That reflection ignites attraction. Another, she leads with confidence, polished and composed. Most men flatter. You look at her and say, "You're used to leading. Do you even remember how to let go?" That's not arrogance. It's a dare wrapped in clarity. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things beyond our control." When you challenge her, you remind her that control can be a prison. She feels both seen and tested. Seneca added, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." A challenge awakens her strength. It sparks curiosity, play, even resistance. But resistance is where attraction lives. So don't settle for words that make her comfortable. Compliment, then challenge. Let her rise to meet it. You're not just another admirer, you become the man who awakens the part of her she didn't know was waiting. What makes a woman lie awake at night thinking about you? It's not your looks, your money, or your charm. It's the psychological imprint you leave behind, the questions she can't stop replaying. Most men chase her attention. A stoic man creates an echo. Example, you talk like you're open, but I can tell you hold back the things that matter. That one line doesn't flatter. It reveals, it forces her to wonder, how did he see that? And long after you're gone, her mind is still circling back. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you plant a thought that lingers, you become part of her. Desire fades. Reflection remains. Another. You seem calm, but your eyes move like someone always scanning the room. That's not small talk. That's revelation. Epictetus taught, make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. By naming what others overlook, you use your power of perception, and it leaves a mark. Here's another move. When she shares something vulnerable, don't rush to comfort. Say, that explains a lot, and let silence do the work. Seneca said, silence is a lesson learned through life's many sufferings. Silence makes her sit with your words until they grow deeper. Most men keep themselves visible by flooding her with attention. You don't. You leave space, and in that space, she begins to miss not you, but how she felt around you. That's how absence becomes louder than presence. That's how you become unforgettable. The most powerful compliments aren't the ones that satisfy her. They're the ones that open a door and leave it slightly ajar. Not finished, just enough to make her wonder what else you see. Most men end the moment. A stoic man starts one. Example, she says something clever. Most guys reply, that's smart, you say. I wasn't expecting that from you. She smiles, but inside she asks, what did he expect? What else does he think of me? Curiosity has now replaced comfort. Marcus Aurelius said, the opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject. Empty praise adds nothing. A precise observation creates depth. Another. She admits she's competitive. Instead of, that's hot, you say, I can already see you hate losing. That's what keeps you restless at night. You're not describing her surface. You're revealing her drive. Epictetus taught, know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly. By speaking to her essence, you awaken what she hides. Or imagine she shares something messy about her past. Most men avoid it. You lean in and say, that's the part of you I find most interesting. You just validated what she thought was unlovable. Seneca reminded us, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. The same is true with her flaws. Make her real, and real is unforgettable. So, remember, the best compliment doesn't close the story. It leaves her wondering what you almost said. That silence, that unfinished thought, that's where desire lives. And that's how you turn a single moment into an obsession.